showtime.
The boys are back. That's right, Florida Man Sports is here with another exciting episode. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. This is Florida Man Sports.
Ladies and gents, Florida Man Football is back.
Let's go.
Let's go. Always streaming on all your major favorite platforms, so do like, share, and subscribe. Johnny Cinco, we're always on Fridays at 8, and
Yes.
right now, this is week 1 happening of preseason football in the NFL.
Yeah, a couple teams are playing right now. You excited about it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
I have no excitement over preseason. I get it. It's like it's the little.
You want to see how the draft
appetizer
picks are
there.
doing. You want to look at fantasy football and things like that and kind of start taking notes.
But the thing is that I'm not. Yeah, I know you're looking at these things, but I'm not looking at them the same way you are. For me, it's kind of like, all right, let's get to it.
It's not like we're hosting a podcast about it, so we're getting people excited or nothing. No big deal. No big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. I always want to start with our local Florida teams here at Florida Man Football. Johnny Cinco. Let's start with the Tampa Bay Bucks. Before we go over the depth chart reaction,
Okay.
I always have a hard time saying depth chart. Let's first look at what happened just this last week. We just signed Teddy Bridgewater. He is now a Buck.
Yep.
What is your instant reaction to the news?
I mean, for a backup, what you want is familiarity. You want somebody who knows the system, so it's a perfect fit. I mean, the defensive line coach was his college coach in Louisville. The offensive coordinator coached him when he played with the Dolphins, so back in 2022. So this is a perfect fit. Listen, Teddy Bridgewater will give you 4 solid starts. God forbid something happens to Baker, he's the guy that's going to come in and he can go, go 4-0 or 2-2, but he'll give you solid starts. So I'm fine with him. He's not the guy that's going to lead you to a championship, but he's a quality back.
I mean, I totally agree with you in the sense that, yes, he's got the pedigree to be a very serviceable backup. But I want to be very clear here, Florida Man Football. He is not here to be QB2. He's not here to be the backup. Let's be real, call it for what it is. He's here because Michael Pratt hurt his back. He's here to be another arm during camp. And I think he will make the team, Johnny. But because a lot of people have been saying that in social media that, oh, Kyle Trask, it's because we're going to replace him. We just signed Trask to a year extension. We didn't do that, in my opinion, to cut him or to make him third string. So for me, I think he's going to make the team. I think he's going to make the roster, but I disagree with you. He's not going to be the second option. He'll be the third. And you know what? A great option at that, but I'm going to stick with Trask at 2.
Well, Trask is familiar with the system. He's been under, Coach Bowles and Coach Arians before that. It's the same system they're running there. So what you need is a guy that, listen, those coaches are in place there because they have a system they believe in. They need a quarterback to run their system. So, success or failure, they've convinced themselves that their system is going to work. They need a quarterback that's going to do it. So Trask can do it. Teddy Bridgewater could come in.
I think, like I said, he's got the pedigree to do it. And bottom line, I think maybe we can both agree with this for the Bucs. That quarterback room just got a lot better, period, no matter how you look at it.
It did. I mean, listen, every team in the NFL lives and dies on their starting quarterback. No backup is coming in, including Teddy Bridgewater, and somehow taking over this team and leading them to more success than that starter. In this case, Baker. Baker has a good season. Tampa has a good season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Baker falls off. Tampa's falling off. So
welcome back, Teddy. Welcome back, and welcome to the Bucs.
Yeah.
Let's sticking with the Bucs. Johnny Cinco, looking at that depth chart again. I can't stress this enough. You know it, and I know it. It's going to change. This is just the week 1 preseason, but with the draft, you get excited. You kind of see where people have landed week 1. So it's kind of what I want to go over with you, Johnny. The first thing with the Bucs with the depth chart is that, Ibuka, our number 1 pick, he's not listed as the wide receiver that is starting wide receiver 1, which I personally agree 100%. It's Godwin, Evans, and McMillan from last year. Those are the 3 starting wide receivers because of the success we had last year. So he's behind Chris Godwin. First quick reaction on that. Any thoughts?
Well,
or is he right where he needs to be?
The same reaction that I've been saying since the draft. What a bunch of fools to go ahead and waste their first round draft pick on a kid who's what you have 75 receivers. You've had McMillan had a breakout year last year. You have Godwin, you have Mike Evans, one of the greatest to ever do it. And you're gonna go ahead, let me pick up another wide receiver. And you're like, yeah, depth. You have so much depth at that position. It was a wasted pick. So I don't care how talented this kid is. He's not gonna get that first team reps that he needs to really, reach his ceiling. So you have this talented kid that's going to sit around, and the only way he's going to get reps is if a couple of these guys fall off, they get injured, which nobody wants. Nobody, and you still have plenty of other guys that can go ahead and jump in, wasted pick, so he's exactly where he belongs.
Well, I think that it's absolutely great that he's right behind Godwin for various reasons, and I have no problem with it, even though he was a first-round pick. Number one, you keep the guys fresh. You're going to essentially, Ibuka's going to get his touches. You know it, and
He's
I
not
know
going to
it.
get his touches.
He's going to get his playing time. He absolutely will. Mike Evans is trying to get 1,000 yards to be the one and only record
He's going to
holder.
get it.
But in order to do that, you're going to have to stay healthy and take your time throughout the season. You're not going to have to rush Chris Godwin to come back because we know that he's still on that list. He can take his time. If he needs an extra week or two, no big deal. And again, if he does start week one, you're going to take your time with him. There's Ibuka. So I love the pick and I love what we're doing. I'm happy that he's at number 2, even though he was a first-round pick.
No, I can't believe you're telling me that you're happy about the fact that I get this number 1 pick, who a wide receiver is one of those positions that you draft in the first round that can start day one. It gives you immediate impact.
He may be starting week 1. We don't know yet if Godwin is going to be ready or not. So he may be starting week 1. That's the best part about it, Johnny. That's the best part.
If they thought there was a possibility for him to start, he'll be getting first team reps. He's not getting those. So no, he's not going to be starting.
Again, week 1 of the depth chart. But moving on to the draft picks, Johnny Cinco here briefly before we move on to the other Florida teams. You've got Ben Morrison, second-round pick, who is cornerback number 2. Jacob Parrish, cornerback number 2. David Walker, of course, had the ACL injury. He's done. But Elijah Roberts, number 3 on the defensive line. Tez Johnson as a wide receiver 2, I think is a big deal. And then, of course, we already talked about Ibuka. But for me, Johnny, when I look at that, the first depth chart, kudos to the Bucs and once again to Jason Light for the draft. You've got guys who are ready to rock and roll, who are going to be playing. I don't see anybody right now getting cut. And that's something that's really, I mean, that's number 1 priority for you, that all your draft picks get playing time or that stick to the roster. So I'm very happy to see that for the Bucs.
Yeah, that part of it is yes. But if your top 3 picks somehow don't make the team, then that's a real problem. The last time I've heard of something like that was Maurice Clarett with the Broncos. They drafted him with a 3rd-round pick, and he never made the team. Yeah. And they admitted it was a complete failure on their part, on Shanahan's part, who was the coach at the time. So, yeah, that's a huge embarrassment if those guys don't make it. So Jason Light did a good job in making sure that every team, they're serviceable, they're playable players. I just felt that they should have maybe –
everyone there is going to get some playing time this season. I'm excited about that. And then the only other outlier, is of course Shiloh Sanders, who the talk has been that he's been doing absolutely wonderful during camp. He's listed in the first chart as number 4, which basically number 4 means that maybe you're going to be practice squad eligible. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like that kid. I don't care. I forget the last name of Sanders. He's probably my favorite Sanders, but the kid is all heart. He's funny as heck. So if you follow him on social media, you kind of see his personality, and he's a good work ethic. So I think somehow this kid's going to figure it out and get some real playing time with the Bucs, and I expect good things.
I hope so too. Let's go. Let's move on to the Miami Dolphins. Johnny Cinco. Always want to remind you that we are streaming on all your favorite platforms, so please like, share, and subscribe. And this is the story. Okay, this is a story. I got to read it.
Here's the story.
Patrick Paul, Jonas Avina. I hope I said his name right. The Miami Dolphins, the left side of the offensive line, are rookies in the depth chart. Cause for concern, initial reactions. What are your thoughts on that?
So let me see. A left-handed quarterback. You have this protection on the left side. Is a whole bunch of rookies.
Yep.
Sound the alarm. Listen, this year I talked about Miami, that it's all about Tua and its protection. So that's simple. That's everything. Now, obviously, they have a great running game. I think the running back is going to go ahead and have a big year. They have outstanding receivers. None of that matters if you can't protect the quarterback. Because if Tua goes down, you're done. You're done. Your boy out of BYU, his backup, isn't going to go ahead and resurrect. I mean, listen, it happened. He may pull Sam Darnold and somehow resurrect his career with Tua going down. But like I said, you're never going to see a backup. You know, it happens very seldomly. The last time I can remember was a great Tom Brady backing up Drew Bledsoe, and he came in and he dominated, and we know the story on that. But I don't see Zach Wilson as Tom Brady. So that's not going to happen. So let's pray for the Miami Dolphins. You want to start the prayer?
Well, the thing for me, Johnny, is one of the things that coming into the season was we had a very bad offensive line to begin with from last year, so we knew that we had to make some changes. I understand, if you see someone that is talented, and again, week 1, this could very well change. They maybe want to see what they have in them. But to me, Johnny, this is more of a sign of like when I'm thinking about McDaniels and all that, like you're putting your gambling chips on this. I don't necessarily agree with it. So I hope this is just a test to see what happens. I hope the depth chart is going to change. But having two rookies on the left side, I'm concerned. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Obviously, McDaniels is going to have to make some changes to his offensive scheme. So I would imagine he's going to move towards more of a West Coast offense. It's going to have to be a bunch of short, dumb passes. It's going to have to be something, get the ball out quick. And Tua's good with that. He doesn't hold on to the ball too long here because he can't. And especially what he's working with right now, if it stays this way with a couple of rookies there guarding him, it's not going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see how things kind of play out, how they work out. It's too early to go ahead and really, I was just joking with, sound the alarm, let's pray for him. It's early, but Miami has so many offensive weapons. I'm just hoping that they have the chance to really utilize all those weapons because you're not if you don't give Tua a little bit of time. So we'll see.
Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the draft and how Miami's doing. Johnny Cinco, you've got the defensive tackle Kenneth Grant on the depth chart. First round pick, he's number 2 on the depth chart. That's a little questionable right there. We've already talked about the guard situation. Jason Marshall, quarterback number 3 in the depth chart, cornerback. Dante Trader Jr., safety number 3.
Okay.
And then, of course, you got Zeke Biggers, defensive tackle number 4 in the depth chart.
What's the last name?
Zeke Biggers.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yep.
Really pronounced that.
And then Ollie Gordon. I know, again, Biggers and Gordon are both 4th rounders, but in the depth chart, I mean, they're sinking in the depth chart. So,
listen,
not so far from what it looks like on paper to me, it's not a very good draft.
It's
early reaction.
You can't say that. We haven't seen anything from these guys. Say, it's not. First of all, we praised their draft, and now you're gonna look at this and be like, oh, it wasn't a very good draft.
Well, that's the thing, right? The thing about it is you can have a great draft on paper. We've seen it many times. That's why a few years later you always readjust the draft to where people should have been drafted. So yes, on paper it was good, Johnny, but right now, after training camp and everything, I expected a little bit better. Something like the Bucs, I would have been happy.
It's week 1 in the preseason, so those depth charts are going to be changing like crazy. They're going to change more than you do with your makeup. So it either way, it's I'm not something I'm really concerned about or worried about. Not yet. Now we start getting into week 3 or 4 in the preseason. Well, week 3. Well, they've changed some things in the preseason, so they're not playing that many preseason games.
Just three games.
So week by, we're pretty much at the end of week 2, then we'll have a better idea of what we're working with going into week 3 in the preseason. Then we can have that conversation.
Yeah, and again, talking about the things that I question, right? Ollie Gordon, like I mentioned, right? He's the 4th in the depth chart at running back. You got a Cheney, you got Wright, and then you've got Alexander Madison. Remember, I told you the guy from the Niners.
Yeah.
And so he's still there now, number 3. And again, with injuries, that could very well move up from there. So again, just questionable.
I'm not sweating the running game. I mean,
questionable, still early.
Nobody expected anything from Mostert, and he's dominated well. And then Chain came out of nowhere. So I'm not sweating the running game. The concern is protection for Tua. That offensive line is everything for this team. It's really important, obviously, we all know for every team, but more so with Miami because Tua, this is McDaniels' last year to really show what he can do with Tua. So if they don't make a good run into the playoffs, he's gone. And then the question is, the next guy, does he even want Tua? Because now that's McDaniels' boy. So I still believe in Tua. I think he can do some great things, but they're tied together. So now it's time to put up or shut up. It's going to be a very interesting year for the Miami Dolphins.
I'll leave this with Miami, man. A lot of high hopes that I had this coming season with the draft that we talked about in free agency, how they did a lot with a little. I'm starting to get more and more disappointed and more sad about what's going on in Miami. Sorry, Miami fans. Please prove me wrong. Have a phenomenal season. Let's move on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, Johnny Cinco, where the talk of the town with this depth chart. I like saying depth chart because I can't say it right.
Yeah.
It's Travis Hunter, right? Travis Hunter comes in as the starting wide receiver at the depth chart. And then he's on defense as well as the 3rd or 4th cornerback. Initial reaction, thoughts? What do you think?
It's a money play. At the end of the day, I think you and I both have him as a better corner than receiver. But if you're going to go ahead and be listed as one or the other, one primary, you're going to go be your primary position is going to be the better paid position. So a wide receiver makes significantly more money than a cornerback. So you have, there's always little games played here. So it just comes down to where, all right, we're a receiver that also plays cornerback. Even if he's a better corner, because when it comes down to his contract, the next contract that comes up, no, you're going to have to go ahead and pay him receiver money with a little bit of extra on top because he's a corner as well. If it was the other way around, it would be less money. So I just see this as a money play.
If he does well at receiver as a wide receiver one, what I did notice, kind of like the Bucs, Johnny, they have 3 wide receivers starting, a 3 wide receiver set is what they have. And what I like about that is they have him as number 3. Essentially what that means, I know you know this already, but what I like about it is at the end of the day that you don't necessarily have to play 3 wide receiver set the whole time. Gives them a little bit more time and flexibility, but you still traded that for him, so you have to name him a starting wide receiver. So good kudos to the Jaguars, at least on that. As far as the rest of the depth chart, Johnny Cinco, or the rest of the draft goes, I mean, just really quick, because we drafted 9 guys. You got 3rd round picks that are 3rd in the depth chart. You got Wyatt Millam, who's 3rd round. He's 2nd in the depth chart. That's the only thing that's really good. Jack Kaiser, 4th round. He's 2nd in the depth chart, but everybody else is 4th. So right now on paper, I guess what I'm saying is that the Jaguars look even worse than Miami, I hate to say, and the depth chart when you're looking at the depth chart. So
I get it. So when you're looking at the depth chart, but I'm not putting as much weight on it as you are because it's, week 1 in the preseason, but you have to look at it. You have to kind of raise an eyebrow to understand why.
Can I say something that I didn't think about before? Okay. So let's talk about this for 1 second. They drafted 2 running backs. Okay. 2 running backs. One, Bashol Tootin, 4th round.
Okay.
He's an RB3 right now. And then, of course, at the end, we got LaQuint Allen Jr., running back in the 7th round. He's 4th in the depth chart. This is a position where, Johnny, where we know they've got Tank and Etienne, and they drafted 2 running backs. So unless you're trading Etienne, right, could we not have grabbed those picks and traded up and got somebody that we could actually use instead of somebody to put 3rd and 4th in the depth chart? It's just it's an honest question.
I understand.
Because it's week 1 overreaction of these charts, and I'm telling you right now, this looks worse than Miami on paper.
No one's going to give you any type of value on a running back, a trade. Meaning there's a very few, running backs that demand real value. That position is so devalued that if you want to go ahead and get Etienne and you try to trade him, what are you going to get? A 6th round pick, if at best. So you might as well hold on to him. Let's see if that pick finally pays off. Is finally.
So then why draft 2 running backs? That's my point.
Because for them, they're like, I think they've lost faith in him, but they're gonna run out. Okay, Etienne, we're gonna got you, but we're gonna run you to the ground. We're gonna use everything you got left. This is his last year with Jacksonville, unless he has a breakout year.
So I didn't really want to go because again, about 7, I think more than that actually, 8 or 9 draft picks. I'm not gonna sit here and name them all in the rounds, but the fact of the matter is, short of Hunter, everybody else is 2nd, 3rd, or 4th. And to me, that is not a good sign of rookie GM first-year draft. Again, 2 running backs. When you have so many holes to fill. Let's be real. Like, what are the Jaguars hoping on, right? You have a team that you try to revamp, you try to redo. And at the end of the day, Johnny, unless this coach is going to just pull a rabbit out of the hat, I don't see it. Last thing I want to say, look at the center position when you're looking at the depth chart, right? You're talking about Robert Hainsey. That's the Bucs backup center starting for you, right? Last season, that's the Bucs backup. So again, you could have addressed so many other positions with this rookie coach and this system. And I'm not feeling good about the Jaguars either, man.
Oh, I'm feeling a lot better about the Jaguars than you are. I know that you've been saying about that. I'm like, no, I think the Jaguars are going to do very well. I think at the end of the day, I think the Jaguars are going to end up being the best Florida team this upcoming year. So we'll see. Listen, one of us has to be right.
Okay, a lot of gaping holes, man, especially on defense. I don't know.
That's what you.
I don't agree. No, I don't agree. Florida Man Sports, folks. Let's pivot to around the NFL. Johnny Cinco. Let's talk a little bit about the latest breaking news, which I think is a huge deal. Is NFL Network and Red Zone is now going to ESPN. Mm-hmm. That's just crazy that I'm saying it. What is your initial reaction on that?
It's going to cost you more money. At the end of the day, if you have some kind of package deal, it's going to cost you more. So, like NFL Network, I'm surprised. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a TV deals. ESPN's going to want more football. They're trying to figure some things out here. So they obviously have the deal for Monday Night Football. They found a way to go ahead and get a little bit more. So, NFL Network still gets, they essentially rerun the games. They play them again here, and then it's more money. It's gonna, as a consumer, it's gonna cost you. So that's my biggest take when I look at something like this. Like, okay, great.
So essentially, what you have though, let's back up a little bit, because the first question that I have when I read this and I saw it, I said, well, why is the NFL the National Football League selling away its video, its
Well, they're
shows,
selling an asset.
its
It's
content. No,
selling,
but that's pretty. It's pretty like to just so here. I'm gonna trust you with my baby, right?
yeah,
That's essentially what I'm doing. And to me, for the NFL to do that, that is just like let's say God forbid, right? Remember, people get fired, anchors get fired, sports goes up and down. ESPN has fired many people many times over the years.
yes.
That is my point. So you're trusting that organization with the Disney umbrella to take over your content. That's all I'm saying, right? And that to me is a cause for concern for the NFL. That's my first part.
Listen, I'm not sweating it unless this woke culture, and I start seeing like a trans ESPN like a sports analyst talking sports. Then I'll be concerned about it. But that's not what we're dealing with right now.
But see, exactly. You don't know. You've given away that control. At least maybe we have to read what the fine print is. But that's on the one side. That's what it looks like. The other side of it, I understand the why behind it. They're doing it for a 10% stake of ESPN, and it's valued right now at $25 billion to $30 billion.
If they sold this for a 10%
Yeah.
stake of ESPN,
Yeah.
then well done NFL. It's
Yeah, no. So I get the why. So that's already 2.5 to $3 billion, right? So I understand the money aspect of it. I get that. I can't. I'll take this to the grave. You're basically, unless the language says something different, are giving somebody else complete notoriety to say what they want with your product. And I hope that down the road it doesn't lead to lawsuits or anything like that.
I get it. I mean, if it leads to lawsuits or not, I mean, I don't care because it's not affecting me personally. Listen, maybe I'm just being nostalgic.
It could affect you
But
personally.
but I get it. But for me, I think of ESPN. I think Stuart Scott. I think Keith Olbermann, who's like it's funny I say that, but it's a super liberal, but still a great sportscaster. Dan Patrick, Linda Cohn. Those are the great sports casters of our day. And for the most part, I hope that ESPN goes ahead and takes the NFL Network and does right by them because they have a pedigree. They have something that's special. They had.
Yeah.
Something that's special, and I hope they continue and don't ruin it. So.
I hope so too, and I hope the 10% was more than worth it. And Johnny Cinco, the latest news that we have on this week 1 preseason of the NFL, Florida Man football. Have I been saying Florida Man football?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
good, bro. You're good. You're good. Yeah. All right.
You got the Browns once again adding another quarterback to their roster, and kind of like the Bucs, the narrative is the injuries, right? The injuries that are happening. Nevertheless, whatever. Tyler Huntley is now a Brown again. What's the reaction there?
Tyler Huntley, former backup for the Miami Dolphins, has started a few games for us. Terrible for us. I don't care what anybody says. I saw those games when Tua went down. I'm like, oh my God, can you please complete a pass? So it's just interesting. The Browns are terrible. The Browns have this mess, and they have, as much as I dog the Bucs for having way too many wide receivers, it's like, okay, that's still, but these guys have way too many quarterbacks. They just mess, and I get it. For them, they're just kind of shuffling through. But listen, you're good. A couple of guys had some back issues, including Sanders, Gabriel. A couple of guys just still, the only one, Flacco, is, 95 years old. So I kind of understand it to a point, but it's like, yeah, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Can you please? The Browns, there's a reason. I'm even pissed off what they're doing with Sanders. Sanders is doing very well in the in kind of like the practices and showing everything, but he's facing the third string defense, and now like the owner is kind of like, no, let's move him up, give him some. I want him playing in the preseason.
He's going to start. He's starting
that,
yeah.
And I'm like, this is setting this kid up to fail in practice. You're going to have this kid nonstop practice, third team reps, second team reps, never practice with that first team till probably the day before this preseason game, and then put him out there to start. I'm like, I get it. It's fine. But this is for me. This is what happens when you get drafted by a terrible organization. They set you up to fail. So hopefully, I'm hoping that Sanders can overcome that. But it's not easy to do. It's when you're practicing against inferior talent, and I'm knocking third string, but they're third string for a reason. And then you go, okay, go ahead and start here in this preseason game with minimal first team reps. What a joke Cleveland is.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. I have a completely different opinion on the fact because I feel like there's two things that are happening. I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I'm going to stand by it, and that is that I feel like we're getting the narrative out of Cleveland that Sanders is doing just amazing because I feel like he's trade bait. Now he's going to start week 1 of the preseason. I feel like this is a trade bait thing. I feel like and now they're adding another quarterback at that. So I would not be surprised, Johnny.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if somebody threw out a second-round pick and they took it to trade Sanders, and they're going to go with their either starting their rookie. But I mean, I don't know. That's just my theory on what I'm seeing, because there's no need. Watson has been training. Watson may be coming back week 4, week 5. He may be coming back week 4, week 5.
Watson is done. Watson will
So,
never get a snap in the Cleveland uniform again.
Okay. So I could see Flacco coming in for 4 or 5 weeks then, and then Dylan Gabriel taking over, their best kept secret. They drafted him for a reason. They wanted him, and then Sanders was an after fact, in my opinion. So don't be surprised now if I'm right, and Sanders gets traded, where's he going to go?
Listen,
I
understand what you're saying. Dylan Gabriel was, I thought, significantly better quarterback in college than Sanders was. So when I saw they picked him up, okay, cool, they got him, a third-round pick, I believe. So I was kind of like, when they picked up Sanders as well, I was surprised. Now, Sanders is supposedly outshining, Gabriel.
Again, the narrative that they want you to believe.
But Gabriel has been injured, so there's a couple of different things. I see it a little differently. I'll tell you where I think he's going to go, but I think, if anything, they're going to trade Gabriel. I think Gabriel, they go ahead and trade him. They got him for a third-rounder. I can see them maybe trading him. And when it's all said and done, they can keep, I think they're going to keep, 3. I'll say 3, but it's really 4 with Flacco, Gabriel, and Sanders. But they still have your boy Watson. So Watson's going to be there, but he's not there. And he ain't coming back this year. He's not playing at all. This guy re-aggravated that Achilles because I think, got an extra massage that day. So it's just not going to happen there with Watson. Watson's done. Watson, I don't think he may get a shot somewhere else as a backup or something, but he's have to be incredibly humble to get that. And that dude is not known to being humble. So no,
if there was an over-under in Hard Rock right now that he plays this year, I would put money right now. Put $100 right now. You'll be a rich man later. Thank me later. Watson is playing this year.
Well, he's this year? No, he ain't playing this year.
Yeah,
he ain't playing this year. If you're gonna bet, you're gonna be stupid, make bets, then go ahead and say no. He is not playing this year.
Harbaugh won't take the bet.
Watson is not going to play this year. So I'm questioning if he's going to play anywhere. But somebody will give him a shot because they'll give him the minimum to kind of like, be a backup somewhere and humble yourself, maybe get your opportunity there. But that dude has done everything. He hasn't been a productive quarterback since the Texans. And I'm like, that was a lifetime ago. And I'm like, he hasn't done anything.
Wild, yeah, it's been a while.
And it's like, it's not. I know you asked me a different question, but you got me all riled up. I know Watson's your boy, so I wanted to go ahead and
always got to be my boy when he doesn't agree with the narrative.
He's got to be your boy.
Look, I tried in this episode to bring the depth chart going back to our Florida teams, Johnny Sanko. I tried to bring it up to try to wake you up a little bit, get you a little bit more like, let's be a little bit more realistic, right? Because you tend to go on these rants where you the Jaguars are the best team in Florida, things like that.
Correct.
This man has said.
That is correct.
And so I try to show you the depth chart, try to show you the draft picks, try to show you that they're not really necessarily, number 1 or number 2 options, and just to give you this whole thing. So I'm going to, even though you just said nonsense for the last 25 minutes, I'm going to give you another opportunity now to clarify 2 things. 3 things. One, that the Bucs are the best team in Florida. Wait. So I need to clarify.
I'm waiting.
2, the Bucs had the best draft compared to the 2 other Florida teams, which is a fact.
Nonsense. And
number three, that this season the Bucs have every opportunity to win the division again and to be the best team in Florida again.
Of course,
I'm giving you the opportunity to admit when you're wrong. Go.
Of course, they have the opportunity to win the NFC South, but the NFC South is a JV division in the National Football League. So you're going to sit here and be like, okay, the Bucs have a shot because they play in a terrible division. So they play in a terrible division, so they have a shot to win that division. However, Jacksonville, I think, is going to finish with a better record than the Tampa Bay Bucs. Miami is a big question mark.
They drafted 2 running backs when they need to fill all their holes.
So many question marks. A lot more question marks with Miami because of the fact that they were struggling. The depth issues were a real issue. They have no money. They drafted very well being so broke. And it's kind of like, is this going to work out? So obviously Josh McDaniels has to adjust some of his schemes. We've talked about it earlier in the show and kind of figure out what exactly he's going to do. And I think he's going to make those adjustments. They have the weapons in place. Jacksonville, I believe in Travis Hunter. I believe that, this quarterback's going to go ahead and show up and actually deliver on everything that was promised with a first overall draft pick out of Clemson. He was amazing. So now it's kind of like, Trevor Lawrence, are you the dude? I think it's going to be all put together with Cohen, with everything in place. I think this is going to put Jacksonville on the right trajectory to championships.
You notice what pride looks like. Instead of admitting when he's wrong, he goes into another rant.
So with Tampa,
Wrap it up.
the fact that they drafted horribly, like you drafted 2 wide receivers when you had that. That's the one position you didn't even need to touch, and you still went ahead and wasted top draft picks. Your first and third, like it's ridiculous that you went ahead and did this for a position you didn't need when you had so many needs on the defensive end. And so like you're really high on Reddick. I am not. Baker, which I love Baker Mayfield. It's a true testament. The story is amazing. I just think like anything else, I called last season that the 49ers are falling off, and miraculously, boom, they did. So, you said a couple things different. I'm just telling you that this year, I don't see the Bucs really even making the playoffs. It's always possible because they play in the NFC South, but I think they're going to fall off this year, and Jacksonville Jaguars will be the top team in the state of Florida.
You made me grab another beer because I'm so upset. Grab this up.
Yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, Chris, we both know that when we discuss these things, I'm usually right and usually wrong, but it's fine. I go ahead and accept you for who you are because that's the type of man I am. But we appreciate you guys listening and watching. Any final words, Chris?
No. Just excited that next week's week 2, man. Let's go.
Thanks, guys. So we'll follow up and we'll continue to see, and you continue to realize that I am correct and you are wrong, sir. Thanks, guys.
Last word.